Hey guys, Dave here from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hanging out with the crew.
I'm Ted.
I'm Nate.
And today we're going to be doing a MageForge, and we're going to build a key.
Because that's what we were looking at.
Yep, we just we grab inspiration from wherever. I happened to say let's do a MageForge. I looked over there and there was a key sitting on the table.
The Key of Solaris.
I don't know what Solaris do.
I don't know.
Oh, my vote for what the key does, which usually doesn't turn out what it actually does later. But
Yeah.
all right, so it's a key. Normally, keys open locks, but in the case of this one, it creates a lock. So you just put the key up to something that you don't want opened, and you just turn it and say whatever the magic word is for it, and it creates like some kind of force lock on the thing.
Can that key get into there, or is that forever locked until you somehow destroy?
I would think the key would get in there.
Well, you can break into it. It's not, and the key can unlock it.
Okay.
I mean, what's the use of the key if it can only lock stuff?
I'm going off of what you're saying.
Okay, all right.
So it can create its own lock. How many locks can it have at a time? Is there?
Maybe it'll have. We could give it charges per day, or it could just be, whatever. It's
have some crazy person running around
locking the world.
one keyhole at a time.
Well, there are no keyholes.
Well, I mean, it could also. You could stick it in a keyhole and just turn it,
Well, that's true.
and it would just lock the door.
Well, maybe that's one of the properties. Like it can open any lock.
I was thinking that would be kind of an obvious use of the key. While I was, I think of creating its own locking, like force mechanism lock, and unlocking that mechanism is is what it does.
Okay, so I was going to go with both, but
I think if it did that, it would be too powerful.
And I think it's kind of the super uber cliche, a magic key that unlocks any door,
yeah.
That's what it was. That was. I don't like that vibe. I like the invisible lock creating thing.
So, all right. So that's an interesting.
Now you named it. What kind of properties would be giving it based on?
Well, you said the Key of Solaris. What is Solaris?
Yes.
I don't know. It's probably a word I've heard somewhere before, and I just liked it, and it came.
All right.
back.
I wasn't.
That happens all the
I don't
time.
have like a running list of all of the gods we have in the world. So
No. It didn't actually come from anything.
Okay.
Solaris to me sounds something solar. Energy, fire. That's
Or divine.
So I link that out there. So we can set the name aside. What do we see as the purpose for someone making this? Like what's its backstory?
Well, I feel like it should be like a locksmith or something made it. Yeah, like maybe it was a locksmith who was trying to magically create a key that could open any door, and he did the opposite.
I love magic item creation that goes awry.
So it's like a unique item that was made by accident.
In my game, Scott had failed to make his ring of water breathing or water walking that he tried to make.
Yeah.
And he wound up making a ring of water creation instead.
Oops.
Just I wanted to give the guy something for his efforts. So I like that concept of it. He tried to make something else, and this is what came to be.
Yeah. So I guess maybe the idea is you have this master locksmith who sets out on a quest to create the ultimate key, the key that opens everything. And he spends the later half of his life just researching and studying and figuring this out. But he's not actually a wizard or a mage. He's a locksmith.
Right.
But he knows to make this key that he wants to make, he's got to resort to magic. It cannot be made by mundane means. So, basically he spends the greater part of his life's work developing the key that can open anything. And it inadvertently creates the key that locks everything.
So I see, him going on this quest, finding, some, rare or valuable material. So let's say that the key is visibly made of something that's not normal.
Yeah, I would think it would be interesting anyway.
I think something neat would be a wire wrap of a whole bunch of different wires and materials, and then you have at different points each one of the key prongs is the termination of whatever wire, like, you know, copper, silver, brass, gold, unicorn hair.
But see, I would think if it was like a master craftsman, it would have to look good.
Yeah, so I was seeing something that looked like a regular key, but like
skeleton key kind of.
Like, I don't know, I'm actually seeing like it being some kind of like prismatic metal that is like constantly shifting form.
Shark steel. It's got to be made of shark steel, obviously.
Love shark steel. But like, you know, the teeth shift, like that the head, you know, it morphs, it changes its shape.
Well, yeah, if you're using it on an existing lock, it'll morph to fit whatever keyhole.
You know, that's the design.
Yeah.
It winds up not doing that. But you know, that's its purpose of it shifting to be able to make that happen. You know, so
or like a mercurial.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it probably looks like a regular, but like, you know, it's got kind of a like it's silvery like that, but it has that amorphous form where it kind of is always shifting and changing just a little bit. And like, you know, the idea too is like, well, okay, so he does that, it shifts to fit in the keyhole, but instead of, you know, unlocking the lock, it creates a new lock.
Right.
You know, and you know, maybe when it does that, like I almost see like, you know, the whole this whole metal mercurial locking mechanism like forming around the key with bands, and then like kind of wrap out around whatever the door or thing is you're locking, and then, you know, just when you use it, and then it vanishes.
Right.
You know, once the effect is kind of in place.
Yeah, that looks cool enough for me.
I think
Solaris, he was the locksmith.
Okay.
There we go.
So we've got Solaris the locksmith, who spent, you know, 20 years of his life to make the key the key that will unlock any lock, and in fact, it's, you know, the locking key.
Yeah, so the Key of Solaris, the key that will lock everything.
So can it create, you know, X number of locks a day? Can it make an infinite number of locks?
It's really not that cool of ability. I would say, like, you know, the rod of force. How many times can you, or the movable rod? How many times can you make it immovable? Can you just do it whenever you feel like it? It's kind of the same kind of feel to it.
I think you can do it whenever you want to, but it might be like you can only maintain so many locks at a time.
Okay.
Like well, because like think of it, like if you're doing it, basically it's casting arcane lock, right? When you use it, so it might be a bit much if you have infinite numbers of arcane locks going on.
So
I don't really think he's going to get towards infinity, but
is 20, you know, too many? Do we want to go higher? Do we want to go lower?
It's kind of like, okay, this is the thing. It's a limit. So is 3 too low and 22 sound too ridiculous? Then, you know, what's an appropriate limit for something like that?
I don't know.
Well, arcane lock, it doesn't. Well, knock unlocks things, and that's a second level spell.
Yeah.
If it could unlock things or open things that are closed to people, like magically closed, and if it did the knock spell, that would be absolutely some kind of like 3 or whatever per day thing. But I think creating invisible lock.
But I think arcane lock's like a second or third level spell.
Second.
So, you know, so that might be a place to look for parameters on that.
Okay.
All right. Do we want to add anything else to this?
So, and the other thing too, I don't know if that spell has costly components or not too, which would be another factor.
That would be something to look up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if we're talking about, you know, doing a spell at will for something that generally has costly components or other factors going on, it's also a ritual spell too, I believe.
Yes, arcane lock is a ritual spell.
So maybe unlimited arcane locks isn't really that far of a stretch, if essentially a wizard could do it anyway.
Oh no, it's not a ritual spell in this edition.
That's probably why, because you would be able to do it every like 10 minutes essentially.
Second level spell, abjuration, gold dust worth 25 gold pieces, which the spell consumes. It lasts until dispelled. Casting time of 1 action. Casting knock on the object suppresses arcane lock for 10 minutes.
But you can always bust the object. You can.
Oh yeah, you can destroy whatever to get in.
Yeah.
So, you know, so it's doing something that a spell already does.
Knock is also a second level spell.
It's a second level spell. It's got a gold. It costs 25 gold pieces essentially every time you want to create this magic lock. But now, if you have the key does it for free.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like maybe charges might be in order.
Okay.
You could even maybe go on the higher end if you wanted to, but
So
although then again, it does seem kind of arbitrary if you're like, well, it has 20 charges a day, and you're like, no. Are you gonna really need to lock 20 doors a day?
And if you do,
There's tomorrow.
There's always tomorrow.
I want to toss another thing out there. While he designed it to unlock anything, so, veto me if you don't like it. It can unlock anything once a year.
I kind of like it as like a quest thing. Like, so you need this key to open this thing that is unopenable.
Because it locked it at some point. Is that what you're...
Well, no, not necessarily the key. Not necessarily the keys involved with the
oh,
thing
but if it could unlock something.
But it's the only thing, like, it might be the only thing left that's known to, mankind or elfkind or humankind that could possibly open this thing. Say, whether, or the other end of it could be like, there's this portal that's been barred, for, millennia by elder beings to keep out, really bad stuff, and this is the only thing that could open it.
So what would be the wording on that? It can unlock anything once per year as per wish spell? Like, basically, if it is unlockable by anything, like a portal, you need some kind of crazy thing to happen. Instead, you just use the key and turn...
Essentially, yeah. Or you could just open it, like, finally, I lost my key to my lunchbox, and I can finally open it.
1 year has passed.
Yeah.
I just, I was initially thought like, okay, well, what if there is, as you said, this one thing that can only be opened, but like that would be, putting it to be a throwaway item once you've unlocked it. Okay, it's kind of junk unless you want to keep using arcane lock on stuff. But it's like, well,
Dude, I'd arcane lock everything. Toilet seat, arcane lock. Lunchbox, arcane lock.
But I'm like, well, if you have this thing that can open up something over this great length of time, I think once a year is kind of ridiculous. But if it can open up anything once a year, I think that's kind of neat. So,
well, I mean, hell, once a decade, depending what you're opening, could be a big deal. Like if you're opening a portal to the far realm that's been sealed forever, that key. Know where this key comes into play. I think Order of the Hidden Fist is questing for this key because they want it destroyed. Because it's the only thing that can open the seal that they're protecting.
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
So we could tie it into some different things. Yeah. So what was that? What was the name of that video we did with the? It
was the unorthodox gnome monk thing that we then built.
Yeah. Did we do a whole video on that?
Was that the Order of the Closed Fist?
I think Hidden Fist. I believe.
Hidden Fist.
Yeah. So guys, we did a video about unorthodox builds on a gnome monk, and we basically built this order around this one character build we did, Order of the Hidden Fist, which are basically these monks that I think we decided they were going to fight with chains that are basically had metal fists attached to one end of the chain, and their whole purpose is like hiding this this portal that's been sealed to an evil utter god, and they protect it or whatever. So I think it would be cool to have maybe a gnome might be questing for this key to try and get rid of it, because if it ever fell into the wrong hands and they were able to penetrate the monastery, they'd be able to open the seal. And there could be other things to do with it as well.
Right, yeah.
Or you could totally do a quest where something actually needs to be opened, and this is the only way to do it. So they have to find the key. And maybe it would. I think it would be cooler if instead of saying once a year, that some kind of circumstance have to happen, like a celestial conjunction of some sort, and that could happen once a year. Right. But then you could totally make it a plot device thing where it happens whenever the DM wants it to happen,
Right.
needs it to happen, and it's gonna be like, okay, the bad guys have got the key, and this day is approaching where they're gonna be able to use this key to open anything, and they're gonna be able to open this thing, or you have the party adventuring for the key because maybe the princess is trapped in amber, and the only way to open the amber is with the key.
It could open, imprisonment spell. Maybe
Yeah.
it can do that as well. So that's what I was thinking with the trapped in amber thing. That's
Well, yeah. So
a cool
instead, it's
imprisonment.
not so it can maybe it can open or undo anything. It's like during that one circumstance.
right.
Yeah. So like that might be kind of cool. Like for most of the time, it's just this kind of like novel, mundane thing, or like, all right, well, no one's getting into my pouch, no one's getting into my backpack, no one's getting into my bedroll. Oh crap, I'm trapped in my bedroll. So you could kind of do that, and maybe come up with a little bit of backstory around the key and the guy that made it. I almost see like something tragic happening after he does, like his life works, goes into creating this key that does the opposite of what he wanted, and then like maybe maybe a rival, discovers the real purpose of the key and uses it to lock him away.
Yeah, I totally would see. Like his 20-year quest doesn't make what he wants.
And the irony is,
he totally gets locked into something. I think that as twisted that as it is, I think that totally makes a fitting end for this guy.
or does he end?
Bum bum bum.
Ooh, yeah, could have
Yeah, maybe he becomes some kind of mad lich or something.
some kind of crazy thing.
Why are you looking at me about the Mad Lich stuff?
'Cause you're the one that likes liches.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You and your undead love.
The love. Lich love.
Liches are awesome. So I think that pretty much covers it.
So we got this one locked down tight.
I think so. What do you guys think? You can let us know in the comments below while you're at it. Like, share, subscribe.
You can come join us on Facebook.
Also, join the conversation over on Reddit.
So until next time,
Stay
stay
nerdy.
nerdy.